Applications are often required to perform calculations involving the values of certain attributes, constants, or specific functions. For these cases, GeneXus Next offers to define formulas. There are different types of formulas. Global ones, which are included in the definition of an attribute and are accessible from the entire KB, and local formulas, which are defined in the object where they are needed and are only accessible within that object. In this video, we will focus on the global ones. Note that the transaction structures contain a column called formula. When an attribute has a calculation defined in this column or in the transaction source, it means that this attribute is virtual. In other words, it will not be physically created as a field in a table, because its value will be obtained every time it is needed by making the calculation. Let's suppose that the pharmacy needs to know how many registered products there are of each product type. We will specify this requirement to the assistant and see what it suggests. It says us that it would create an attribute named product type product count, with an associated formula, the count formula. The attribute that is included inside the parenthesis of the formula indicates GeneXus which table to navigate to make the calculation. In the previous definition, product name is inside the parenthesis, therefore, GeneXus knows that it has to count in the product table. Then, if GeneXus finds a relationship between the table that will navigate product and the context where the formula attribute product type is defined, it will only consider the related records when performing the calculation. In this example, the product type ID attribute is present in both contexts, where the formula is defined, and in the table where the navigation must be performed to obtain the calculation. Therefore, for each product type, only products of that type will be counted, instead of counting all the products registered in the navigated table. If no relationship is found, GeneXus will do the calculation considering all the records in the navigated table. We agree with the assistant's suggestion. Press F5. There are no physical changes to make in the database. GeneXus Next will only generate some programs. Let's run the product type transaction. We see how the number of products is always calculated for each product type, every time it is requested. You can add more products and verify that the number of products of each type is always calculated every time it is requested. GeneXus Next provides many formulas. We invite you to advance in your studies to learn more about them.